Hey everyone, and welcome to day 19 of my horror movie review marathon, and I've got The Fly 1986 movie review. When a scientist completes his teleportation device, he decides to test its abilities on himself. But little did he know, while conducting the experiment, a nasty fly ruins the process, and thus creating a mix of man and insect. As far as the story goes, this 1986 remake of The Fly is just as chaotic as in plot as the original one that came out a few decades earlier, and only this time I feel like its focus is more style over substance, and honestly, this isn't my favorite film from David Cronenberg, who is most well known for working with actors like Viggo Mortensen and Robert Pattinson. And I feel like maybe at the time this movie was considered to be a success, but honestly, looking at it now, I feel like it is a little bit dated and it just doesn't quite do anything for me. And I had seen the original movie with Vincent Price, and I would say that movie was boring, and I had to fast forward all the way to the end to actually see that whole thing with The Fly, because honestly, that's why I came to see this movie. I just was not a fan of this movie. Now, as far as the casting goes, you've got Jeff Goldblum, who is in the lead, and he's this scientist who is conducting all these different experiments, and yes, the thing that he actually puts himself in kind of looks like a Dalek from Doctor Who, and he looks like he's getting ready to become the Terminator, but I just don't feel like he gave it his all in this movie, and yeah, I would say he did, considering the constant transformations he is in throughout the film, and obviously you might see that in his performance, because at one point, he says that his teeth are falling out, and yet he's climbing like Spider-Man on the walls, and he's freaking out his girlfriend, played by Gina Davis, and I would say she did a much better job in this movie than I thought she would, but I guess she had to be the strong one in this situation, because sometimes you have to make tough decisions in tricky situations. Their chemistry was there at one point, and then it all went downhill as soon as Jeff Goldblum started to literally turn into this fly, and that was really creepy. As far as the things that I liked about this movie, which is very little, I would say this movie was somewhat frightening to watch, and I think it had to do with the special effects, which were very creepy, and I feel like that could stand the test of time, because sometimes they might not always look the best, but literally I was almost like grossed out watching this movie because of how graphic things were. But unfortunately, the things that I didn't really like about this movie, I know this movie came out pretty much 2 decades ago, but I feel like it is a bit cheesy, and there are some parts that are slow moving. But yeah, hey, the original had that issue too. But this one, I was expecting more, considering I feel like all the action started up right away, which was a good thing, but then it all went downhill, and I would say that I was bored, and it was a snooze fest to watch. And yeah, there were some parts in this movie that I found to be just really weird, and I couldn't really quite get into this movie that I thought I was going to, because, hey, some remakes don't always live up to their originals, and sometimes the movie altogether just sucks. So overall, I would say that The Fly should just fly away, because this honestly was not a great movie whatsoever, and I can't say that it took away any merits from the original movie, but I guess I'd have to give the original a watch again, and hopefully I won't get bored watching that one either. So I can't see myself recommending this movie. I would give this 1 heart on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of The Fly 1986, and come back tomorrow for day 20 of my horror movie review marathon. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, coming every week for a Child Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I will see you guys later.